sip, daddy.
Hello everyone and welcome back to a special presentation of Anime Club After Dark. I'm your host, Sho, and joining me tonight, we have Alex Senpai.
I have nothing. I didn't think of a fucking intro before this started. I'm sorry.
Because you're stupid. Well, what we'll be talking about today is the 21st episode of Vinland Saga.
We're getting close to the end.
We are, and I am a bit concerned.
Why is that?
Because I want to see more. What?
Why is that?
Yeah, because I want to see more, and I don't know how this is going to end, or where this is going to end.
I mean, I can't.
Yeah,
I can't see there being like a conclusive conclusion, like a definitive conclusion. I mean, obviously, the manga that this is based off of is still ongoing, so it's not going to be the conclusion to the story.
So, but like, okay, what even is the end goal that the story is even trying to get to? Because, I mean, what the main character has stated is what he wants to do is kill ACAD, which clearly, even if it happens, would not feel like a fulfilling conclusion. So,
which is kind of what this episode and probably the next one kind of gets to, that this whole idea of revenge probably isn't going to be as satisfying as it seems like it's going to be.
I feel like that sort of sentiment has been expressed a lot throughout this show in its entirety, in previous episodes as well. But I'm feeling like if this is really going to be a saga, that we don't even know what the end goal is yet. I feel like we're still in some kind of weird arc, and then I feel like the end goal must have something to do with Vinland, but I'm not feeling a real motivation to go there at the moment from the characters. So
wait, do you mean the end goal of the entire story?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you like the end goal of this part is like, that's a big stretch.
No. Well, you're like, well, it won't feel conclusive. So I'm like, what would feel conclusive? And honestly, I don't know. I feel like there's going to be more problems that have to be introduced to be solved.
Yeah, I mean...
Or maybe everyone will just die, and then everyone will cry, and the blood will flow down.
I almost feel that so far... And of course, there's, 3 episodes left to go before this, what hopefully is the first season of a couple more, at least, is over. I get the feeling the more we get closer to episode 24, which is the end of this particular part, it's almost like we've been watching a prologue to a much larger story that's about to evolve. At least that's what I hope.
It's a pretty long prologue.
Oh, yes, I agree. It's a very long prologue, but I mean that's the sense that I get. I'm kind of hoping that there's more to this than just the revenge, and I'm really hoping this doesn't end on like a fucking cliffhanger.
Probably will end on a cliffhanger, but I definitely feel like the story could go on for much longer than what the current goals are for the characters that they're working towards.
Yeah, and there's a lot going on around these main characters that we've got, and it seems like it could be explored a whole lot more than it has been.
Yeah, especially considering this is like a historical war genre, which can go for a long time. There's like an endless amount of content you can make for that. So this could keep going for a while, which I would not be opposed to, because I definitely want to see more. So let's talk about what actually happened in this episode.
Yes, let's.
Yeah, you can skip to whatever timestamp this is for when the episode actually begins. So, last episode, we ended on a scene where Leaf was at a slave market, and we picked up on that scene at the beginning of this episode. And what I was picked up on, or rather was questioning, was what Leaf was talking to his ship hand about, that he is still looking for Thorfinn, and the reason he gives is that because if Thor's wasn't there, they would have died in that ambush, which is super awkward in my honest opinion, because I'm pretty sure Leaf is searching for Thorfinn because he's like besties with Thor's. So why don't you just say that he was my fucking... Leaf was Thor's mistress, and we all know this.
God.
So, I mean, it doesn't make sense why he said that if Thor's wasn't there, they would have survived the ambush, because if Thor's wasn't there, there wouldn't be an ambush in the first place. So, okay, writing team.
I mean,
I know.
In his mind, maybe the reason that he was there was the reason they were allowed to escape. But honestly, it seems like he has more guilt than anything else. I mean, guilt that he let Thorfinn get away and not bring him back home to his mother and his sister.
Yeah, because he loved Thor's.
Oh, God. Stop. Stop with your fucking shipping.
So then we flash to Canut's whole ensemble, not ensemble, but contingency?
Sure, we'll go.
Contingent.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
Whatever. His march of his men
on a boat.
On boats. Oh my God.
You're really fucking this up. I do want to say, like, this entire sequence of them pulling into, like, this harbor in York was fucking amazing. Like, the whole thing with Canute having a body double and Askeladd having, like, this trap to be sprung to see if they would actually be ambushed as they were coming into the harbor. That was fucking amazing.
That was a very, very complicated plan with lots of twists and turns.
Yes.
And I was very surprised at every twist, and I quite enjoyed the intellectual warfare. But...
And also the look on Floki's face, and he's like, oh shit, I've been played.
Lol. You looked so suspicious. Which... Okay, we're jumping a little forward. But I just wanted to say that the switch between Leif and Canute is pretty, like, builds up the tension, because we know that Canute is entering York and Leif is in York, so that we know that Thorfinn is going to meet Leif, and we don't know what's going to happen when they meet. So I was quite excited by that particular switch of scenes. But yeah, you were talking about Floki, which, I mean, after the whole assassination happened, Canute told Askeladd that they had confirmed their intentions. And at that point in time, we assumed that was Floki's intentions, which we were convinced of that because the anime showed us Floki's face sweating. But Canute didn't know that Askeladd had arranged that himself. So... Canute was tricked and the viewers was tricked. They weren't confirming anyone's intentions.
Everyone's just at the mercy of Puppet Master Askeladd.
Yes, I love it. But
he's playing like some severe 8-dimensional chess against everyone right now.
Yes, and I also liked how they tricked the viewers as well with the way they arranged the scenes. Very impressed.
Yeah, like, even the way that they reveal that it was a body double that ends up getting shot instead of Canute was great, because it makes you think, oh my God, has Canute actually really been a woman this whole time?
I literally, when those boobs popped out of that chest, I was like, I knew it, girl. Call it from day one. Isn't that like, but that's such a big anime trope where a woman dresses up as a man and then it's so obvious that you're a woman.
I also love when they were I think it's Canute that asks, why did you get a woman to do this? It's like, because we couldn't find any male slaves that fit your description.
Canute is one of a kind.
Also, that scene where he's actually, looking at the slave who was posing as the body double, and he's like, is there anything you can do to save them? It's like, so the last couple episodes we've seen Canute, like, attempting to be a badass and showing, like, really being, like, not seeming to care about people in general. And it's like, oh, yeah, you actually do care. That's nice to know.
I don't think it's that he doesn't care about people. I think more that, like, he's grown some balls and he can deal with, like, fucking intense situations now.
He's become very blunt.
I wouldn't say blunt. I would say he's not a pussy anymore.
I guess. Listen, sure, we'll go with that. He's not a pussy anymore.
He can make the hard decisions, and he can play hardball. So I think that was in
I like how we were
character
talking
of him.
about like pussy and growing balls, and then of course you use a bunch of synonym or a bunch of similes that have the word hard in it.
Honey, is that my fault or the English language's fault? I don't know.
That's a good question.
Another interesting thing that happened during that whole fiasco is that Thorfinn like dropped down on the assassin and he was like in a sling, and I thought that was so hilarious. Hilariously cute because he's like literally a hospital patient and he's still killing people. I thought that's so funny.
But that's also how Thorfinn and Leif have their reunion.
Yes, and fucking Leif got scared the fuck out of his mind when Thorfinn stabbed the assassin right in his face.
Right in front of him.
Yeah, I thought it was maybe a bit too over dramatic. I mean, come on, Leif, you're a Viking. You've seen this shit happen. You don't need to go crazy.
His reaction
Leif clearly
his reaction was very anime.
Yes, it was very anime. Leif clearly didn't recognize Thorfinn at the moment, but girl, calm down. But then when Leif finally does realize who Thorfinn is so adorable how he like hugs him and then cries. Oh, uncle and baby are back together. Heart emoji.
Yeah, I like the reunion. I thought it tugged at the heartstrings just a tad.
It was very heartwarming. But yeah, the animation or the details on Thorfinn's and Leif's face were like super high quality. And in general, this episode feels like it's much more high quality than the previous episodes. So I think they're like they miscalculated the budget and they're finally like putting some detail into their story.
It's like, go to the ATM, get us some more money for this animation.
Yes, they're going all out for the approach to the end of this series.
I mean, leave people with a good taste in their mouth for additional seasons, I suppose.
That is a very smart plan. You go high budget at beginning, high budget at end, and we forget about the middle. Nothing happened in the middle. Shh.
That's like Mappa's like fucking MO for everything that they do.
Yes, I guess. I don't really see that, but I will believe you. So
I mean, just look at Yuri on Ice and Dororo. It's literally how they all win.
Yuri on Ice is such a headache. We're not going to go into that. But back to Vinland Saga and Leif and fucking Thorfinn. So Leif asks Thorfinn why he doesn't want to see his sister and mom, and Thorfinn's like, I don't give a fuck. Don't talk about things I didn't ask for. And I'm like, girl, your family is suffering in the ice. Go care for your people.
I mean, yeah, that was kind of heartless, but can you blame the man? He's been so single-minded for like a decade.
I mean, I guess he's clearly doubling down on his mistakes.
Yeah. It's like, do I want to learn from these? Nah, fuck it. I'm just gonna throw all my chips on this hand.
Yeah, him not wanting to hear about his sister and mother clearly tells us that he is in a bad place mentally and emotionally.
I genuinely
if we
wonder,
didn't already know that.
Well, I genuinely wonder if his mother and sister are still alive.
I mean, I feel like Leif would have known if they died.
Maybe. Maybe he was trying to ease him into telling him that, but he was having none of it.
Was that a pun on none of it?
Maybe.
Because none of it is near Iceland, allegedly. But
I mean,
that is
possible. It wasn't, but I will take it.
It is possible because the way he said it could be interpreted as your mom done dead. Which would be so horrible. Why are you such a glutton for misery? You're such a sad person. And then during that same confrontation, Thorfinn like screams at Leif that he has to kill Askeladd or else nothing matters. And then I'm like, yeah, you clearly have problems. If we didn't already know, you clearly are broken emotionally and need repairing. And Uncle Leaf is here for you. And Uncle Leaf can nurture you back to your full peak health. And that, I think, is going to be the next arc. Is going to be
Wow.
How to Raise a Viking by Uncle Leaf.
How to Raise a Boring Viking.
Oh, you mean, okay, you're making a...
Yes, I'm making an anime pun. Thank you for recognizing
so
that.
witty. Okay, listen, I would watch that spin-off / sequel.
Something else that I want to mention quickly before we move on is this is the first time, at least in the anime, that anyone has mentioned Thorfinn's, shall we say, improvised last name, Karlsefni. Because someone actually refers to him as Thorfinn Karlsefni, which is the real person that Thorfinn is based off of.
We haven't heard of that before, have we?
No, we haven't. But Karlsefni is not actually. It's a nickname, but it's like a nickname given as a last name. I went and looked it up. Apparently, it means something similar to markings of a man.
Okay.
But anyway, the real Thorfinn that Thorfinn is based off, that's his actual last name.
Interesting. I don't think the way Thorfinn acted was like, who the fuck is Karlsefni?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't his actual last. I mean, even the real Thorfinn, it wasn't his real last name. It was one that was given to him.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, that is quite interesting trivia. So we have another scene in this episode where Askeladd is in the barn or whatever. He's in like some decrepit old place at night talking to Canute about all of his plans and all of the ways he has tricked everyone into manipulating the situation in his favor, which is quite interesting. So we learned that, he hired the assassin, he's been spreading rumors, and he's going to use this as leverage in the council meeting so that Canute doesn't get sent off to who knows where. And he knew that Ragnar's brother was informing King Swine, which honestly, that's not that hard to figure out because Ragnar's brother is a fucking slut.
He seems like the slipperiest fucking salamander in the fucking pond.
Yeah, clearly not trustworthy. But that's really interesting to know that he wanted King Swine to think that Canute is looking for a drawn-out battle when really, apparently, allegedly, Canute is going to go for a short-term battle. The jugular. Oh my. So there's going to be some intense throne-taking in the near future, which I am very excited to see.
It's also setting up a lot of crossing and double crossing and double crossing.
There's a lot of double crossing in this episode, and I am living for it. If anything, I believe a few episodes ago or last episode, I was like, Canute is becoming the new main character, but nah, man, Askeladd is still the main character. Askeladd is like literally determining the plot by just deciding what to do, and Canute is literally just being pulled along for the ride. So I am loving all these mind games.
We've mentioned it before. It's Askeladd, or not Askeladd. Thorfinn is ostensibly supposed to be the main character of the story, yet it seems like everyone around him and not him are the ones driving the plot along.
Which honestly is not a bad way to write.
Oh no, it's not.
Story.
It's not at all. It's in fact, it's kind of refreshing to have writing like this, where it's not necessarily just the main character being expected to move the plot along. It's great because it leads to other characters being more fully fleshed out and developed.
Definitely. So a random line that Thorfinn said after this is that while Thorfinn was doing as Askeladd's bidding of trailing Ragnar's brother is that he's like, is a real warrior someone who would deceive others? I don't think so. And I'm like, girl. Like the fucking kettle calling the pot black or whatever the fuck's it.
It's the pot calling the kettle black. You fucked it up.
Bitch! Don't correct me. No. But, yeah, like, is what you're doing, as in fucking focusing your entire life around trivial revenge, what a warrior should do? I don't think so either, Thorfinn. So Thorfinn is a big hypocrite, clearly. I just found that line very telling, that he is making the wrong decision in his life by continuing to do what he's doing.
Also kind of showing that he's not that self-aware of what he's actually doing, too.
God, Thorfinn is dumb as a brick. Maybe one day he will develop, but I do not. I'm not holding my breath for that. So we end this episode with Askeladd putting Bjorn out of his misery, which was foreshadowed earlier in the episode when when Bjorn is like, tomorrow, ? And Askeladd is like,
tomorrow.
Eggplant emoji. Yes. But
also, I'd like to point out in that particular scene, thank God someone mentioned the fact that Askeladd was shot with arrows.
Lol, oh my god, we're not going back to this.
No one pointed this out the whole time, and Askeladd finally pointed, yeah, my leg got fucked up with arrows, man.
Could have fooled me with how he stabbed Bjorn.
God, what if the way Askeladd dies is he gets fucking gangrene or something? God, how anticlimactic would that be?
Oh my god, Alex. It's not at all relevant to the plot. He's clearly not going to die from gangrene, but yeah, so when Bjorn said tomorrow, I definitely knew he was going to be killed by Askeladd tomorrow. I knew what that meant.
I think Bjorn knew he was going to get killed by Askeladd.
And then the actual duel was kind of sad, honestly. Bjorn asking Askeladd if he was lonely was actually quite telling, because I feel like Askeladd lost his crew, lost his butt buddy Bjorn.
He's lost literally everyone except Thorfinn.
Yeah, I guess. I don't think he really values Thorfinn as like a...
No, but I'm talking about of all the people that were following him around for those 10 years that Thorfinn was with him. He's lost everyone but Thorfinn.
That's true. But yeah, I think what Bjorn calling him lonely was really really telling, because honestly, Askeladd does seem pretty lonely. He's on a pretty lonely trajectory, or what he wants is gonna make him pretty lonely.
I walk this lonely road.
Oh my god.
Only one that I have ever known.
That's great. Okay, well, I appreciated Bjorn pointing out that character flaw ? Or character weakness or whatever.
Yeah, I also think one of the things that Bjorn, I guess, asks also of Askeladd is, if Askeladd considered him a friend after all these years, and like Bjorn kind of dies with Askeladd saying, "Yeah, you were my only friend." I have a distinct feeling that Askeladd doesn't believe that.
No.
I think he just told Bjorn that to make his death that much easier for him to take.
Yes.
He was just telling Bjorn what he wanted to hear while he was dying.
Yeah, well, Askeladd loves to lie through his teeth, so nothing new.
You're not wrong.
But yeah, that scene of Bjorn dying in Askeladd's arms was pretty sad. I thought that was honestly the most emotional scene, because Bjorn was with Askeladd for so long. They were like besties, and now he's gone.
I mean, ever since Bjorn and Askeladd were introduced in the story, they've essentially been together.
Well, I found that more emotional than the Leaf reuniting. So.
They were both pretty emotional moments, I think, just for different reasons.
Mm-hmm. They really, I've noticed, they really like to do the lighting just right for when people die. Because when Bjorn died, it's like the shot was like, it was just a sliver of sunlight peeking over a mound of snow, and which was similar to how Ragnar died. There was like the sunlight was like just peeking through the trees. So it was really good shot composition, and it made the moment even sadder.
Good callback too, I think.
I guess they were both killed by ACAD.
Yeah.
ACAD is just the bringer of misery and sadness to those around him and himself.
And apparently good lighting to death scenes.
Oh my god. Any lighting is good lighting for ACAD.
Yeah, and then I love the way the episode ends, where it's like just turning to Thorfinn. It's like, your turn, bitch.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Although, I mean, it would be a cliffhanger, except we already know how it's gonna end up, because how many duels have we had? How many times has Thorfinn won?
I'd also like to point out that just because we've seen a handful of duels doesn't mean there haven't been more we haven't seen over the years.
Yeah, there's clearly been a lot. But who knows? Maybe ACAD will finally die by Thorfinn's hand.
We shall see. by his fucking bandaged up arm.
Yes. Oh my god. He fucking like stuck that dagger into the bandage. It's like a like a hook, like a pirate.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh my god, that's actually so adorable. This Oh god. Thorfinn, you are so extra. Well, I think that's everything. So, thank you all out there for dropping in to listen to us. We hope you enjoyed it, because we sure enjoyed bringing it to you. If you want to check out previous episodes of the podcast, you can find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify. If you want to keep up with what we're doing, you can join us on Discord, Facebook, Twitter, and our website. Shoot us an email if you have any questions, or if you have ideas for topics you'd like us to talk about in the future. Links to all these things are down below in the description. I have been your host, Sho, and I will see you next time. Say goodnight, Alex.
Let's get it on. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, it's not going to be that epic. It's probably going to be sad. And
no, I want some celebrity deathmatch level shit going on here.
Oh my god.